Okay, so that was a great biryani by Nasser, and thank you for that. And now we're all fresh, and we are more sleepier now. So the password is stay awake. So about DNS, we talked about last time as well, and how does DNS name resolution work, DNS components, what are DNS zones and records. Well, we did install DNS before with Active Directory, but we were talking about last time that there are two types. Well, there are actually many other ways we can categorize it, and this is something else. Ignore that. Okay. So we were talking about, because we were talking about that, and I'm sure that everyone has listened to that video. Are we okay with the lights, right? Okay. Okay. So,
Yes.
Oh, okay. So here,
If you need it, I don't need it.
anybody else need this region lamp, or you can just put in that region, that lamp. It's fine, right? Okay. So here we were talking about the DNS, and last time we did mention that there are DNS AD integrated DNS, and then there is integrated DNS, and then there is DNS that is standing alone, right? So stand-alone DNS. And then we talked about that AD integrated DNS has more benefits and more recommended by Microsoft if Windows operating system itself survives the next 5 years. So AD integrated DNS uses topology of domain controllers or Active Directory, topology of Active Directory. That's what we talked about, so I'm just going to fly by that now because we already discussed it. And it also is secure. How? The guy with biryani, yeah.
I didn't even answer.
Oh,
Because it's encrypted.
yes. It uses LDAP. Well, yeah, that's directory services, and it is secure because it is encrypted. So that's why it is secure as well, and of course it is also automated. You don't have to tell. We do not have to manually configure DNS to inform that there is another DNS to replicate to. So this means that as soon as DNS gets installed with Active Directory, just like domain controllers do not have to be told if there are two domain controllers, they will discover each other and they're going to replicate all the information to each other if there is a modification. So DNS will start working the same way as soon as there is a modification. Active Directory integrated DNS will start talking to each other right away. So oh yeah, exactly.
You wrote it.
ODND. Okay. I was gonna say exactly. I had no idea what we were saying, but yeah, I was just saying yeah, exactly. So I was just feeling right now that you know, it's a little warm here. Then I realized that I have a jacket on. So okay, so standalone DNS is the only difference is that standalone DNS, we have to manually configure each DNS that there is a partner DNS in the network. So that we have to do ourselves, right? So standalone DNS, but AD integrated DNS, you don't have to tell that to two DNS servers if there are two DNS servers. Standalone DNS server, basically you have to configure the replication between the two DNS servers. So we have to configure replication between the DNS servers ourselves. So this really we need to do that. Before that, about the DNS, different areas of DNS, we did talk about that already. But so there are zones that we create there. Zone is the area in which we configure the whole DNS. So there is a primary zone that we create, and then there is a secondary zone that we create, and then there is a stub zone that we create. So stub zone we did in a forest trust lab as well. We created a stub zone, and that zone is responsible for any specific traffic being moved to a specific domain. So primary zone again has all the resource records there. Resource records, right? And examples are A, PTR, that's one of the few records here. SRV, right? TXT, well, it keeps on going. CN, MX, XYZ, no, there's no such record. Okay. So, but we do know that what is a record? Name to IP resolution, right? So a record has what information? Which, yeah? Okay. Which information a record has? So it has, yeah, so it has name of machine. Okay, host, computer, or a printer, any machine, right? And so there's a name of any machine, could be computer, printer, or anything, and of course its IP. An IP, right? So pointer record. So I'm just doing both things. Yeah.
New students,
Huh?
New students.
Oh. So it's IP and name. It's the same thing, other way, right? If anyone knows the IP, wants to know the name, the request goes to the reverse lookup zone that has the pointer records. Now, I just put that primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone, but then they are also within our forward lookup zone, and so all three are in the reverse lookup zone as well. So if I just try to create that very latest application, okay, ignore that too. See, so much work, so much hard work. Okay, now I was just explaining VDI to the morning class. So here I'll just put that clear. So here a primary zone, and I'll just put it on resource records are here, then there's secondary zone, and then there is stub zone. So forward lookup zone has the same information, and the reverse lookup zone also has the same information, right? So if I go for this same here, I still need to write, but I think it's gonna keep on letting me write. Why do I even use this application? Because once you move away from this area, it's let us. So if we go for reverse lookup zone, REVERSE, so it also has a primary zone, it also has a secondary zone, and it also has a stub zone. But reverse lookup zone does not have its records are not called A records. So its records are called pointer records, PTR, right? And the rest of the records are also not in the reverse lookup zone. So pointer record is just if you have the IP, give me the name, right? So it's gonna ask for, you can ask for the name, or the client application can ask for a name. Suppose you ping an IP and IP address comes back, but if you ping -a IP, then the name also comes back with that application, right? So primary zone and primary zone has resource records, secondary zone has resource record, and stub zone can have resource records. Resource records are what? IP and name of a machine, or just simple name of any machine that points to another machine. Now, reverse lookup, we're gonna just still come back to reverse lookup zone right now. Let's talk about the forward lookup zone, which is just name resolution. Both are actually name resolution there. If you just have forward lookup zone, Microsoft network will work fine if we only configure FLZ, right? What is FLZ? Forward lookup zone. So and this is configured when you install Active Directory with DNS. So when we install Active Directory 80, at that time it asks that, hey, you want to install DNS as well, and it installs both, right? So it configures for us just the forward lookup zone. When we install Active Directory, it configures for us just forward lookup zone, right? Reverse lookup zone, we have to configure ourselves. It doesn't configure that, but if we just install Active Directory with DNS, Microsoft environment, as far as it is concerned, it will work fine. Name resolution will work. Every machine will be able to access each other by name. You don't have to put an IP to access any machine. Every machine and every application will be able to be accessed by name. So, but there are so many records here, right? So these records we're going to talk about, and also one more thing that we're going to do as a lab. In fact, we're going to just keep on creating many things inside DNS just to understand what they are. But the main lab would be that we're going to configure standalone DNS. So we have already configured so many times the Active Directory integrated DNS. How did we configure Active Directory integrated DNS? And we did it many times. How? We configured Active Directory integrated DNS when we installed Active Directory and the DNS was selected. We didn't configure it, actually Active Directory configured that DNS for us, right? So when Active Directory was installed, it just not only installed DNS, it also configured the forward lookup zone of it for us, right? So, but now if we go for standalone DNS, where Active Directory is not there for us to configure the DNS forward lookup zone. So in that case, we have to do everything ourselves, right? And we have to create that zone. We have to create the A records inside. We have to create the reverse lookup zone. We have to tell the second DNS server, hey, there's a there is a partner DNS server on the other server, right? So with standalone DNS server, we have to manually configure everything. Once we configure forward lookup zone inside standalone DNS server, once we manually configure DNS replication between the two standalone DNS servers, then any change done on them is automatically replicated. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, Microsoft recommends that Active Directory integrated DNS is the best way to go. But if you suppose have two DNS servers that are not integrated to Active Directory, all you need to do is just tell them where is their partner. You have to tell each other about each other, and that's it. Then they do start automatic replication after that. Suppose you make a change here, it's going to automatically replicate here as well. So it's not like that if standalone DNS is there, that everything, so suppose you create an A record here, you have to come yourself here and create an A record for a machine. Suppose there's a printer and you've configured on the printer, print server or network printer, the name and IP there yourself, You've configured that. So in the printer, now on the network side or over the network, you want everyone to access this printer by name, right? You want everyone to access this printer by name, right? So normally what happens, there's a ticket created there and they say that, okay, just can you just create A records for my printer? I have 2 printers here and this is the name, this is the IP. So you're going to create the A record for the printer on first DNS server while the replication has been already configured manually. So if you create an A record, suppose PTR01 and the IP is suppose 192.168.200.35 suppose. So now because replication has been configured, it's going to automatically be created here as well. So the concept is that Active Directory integrated DNS, it works automatically, it is configured automatically, and it replicates automatically. It knows that, oh, there's another DNS server. Okay, hey, hello, how are you? I'm fine. Okay, let's replicate. But in standalone DNS server, you have to tell each other that, and we need to know how to tell the 2 DNS servers about each other and make them replication partner, right? We need to know how to do that. So that is one lab, right? But before that, we're just going to start going one by one with everything. Now we have started our machines. Yes. Okay, thank you for the reply. Oh, nobody started the machine? Okay, nobody means me. Oh, you did? Okay. Oh, that was like way back or before the biryani? Oh. So ignore that there is 742 written here. Is there anyone from 742 class? No. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm just borrowing their machines for now. And yeah, I'll just create that a snapshot before I start messing with it. So we need 2 machines. In fact, we need 2 standalone machines. So we do not need a member server. We don't need 2 member servers. We need 2 standalone machines. Standalone machines means what? They are joined to the domain, right? Okay. So standalone machines we need, and then we're going to independently install DNS on both. And since they are standalone machines, they're not joined to the domain. They don't know each other's existence until we tell them, right? And we're going to create our own zone, which is anything like tastybiryani.local, right? We just had that. Oh, okay. We just had a biryani.com, right? We can just create that zone as well. So what we need is 2 standalone servers. So how do we create 2 standalone servers? We clone we clone 2 servers and we don't join the domain. That's it. Give static IP, rename, that's it. Done. Right? So don't join to domain and simply let's create the standalone DNS server, and you're going to see a complication coming there when we start configuring standalone DNS servers. Yeah?
We have a server 4.
We have?
We can snapshot it back to 1.
Exactly. Snapshot 1 is standalone. Snapshot 1 we took when it was not joined to the domain, right? So,
server 5.
yeah, server 5 as well. Oh man.
We even have server 3.
We have, so we can put server 2 and 3 to snapshot 1, right? 3 and 4? I hope we did not delete them, right?
No, but we joined it to the domain.
Okay, then we can go. Was there anything mucho importante running there? Hyper-V Manager. Oh, we can install that again.
And the 4th was the replica.
Okay, so I'll just go back to those machines. I was trying to still recover. Okay, so server 1, server 2. once we have standalone machines, we just need to install DNS on them. So we're used to installing Active Directory and DNS and leave it at that, right? But once we have to manually configure DNS, it becomes a totally different story then, right? So because those clones are very easy to create, so I'll just create link clone here and start them. So server 0470-741 stand alone server DNS.
So do you want us to create or do you want us to do it?
No, if you have extra machines, I don't have extra machines because I run out of space in my laptop every 2 weeks. So if you have 3 and 4, just go back to the snapshot 1 of that. And do not follow me for that.
So, you were running two,
Snapshot one.
this is four, three and four, or two and
If you have 3 and 4, you can go for snapshot 1 there. If you have 2 and 3 and not 3 and 4, okay, I have the 2 servers and they're gonna start. But guys, we don't need the Active Directory for that, and that's where we get to know the inside of the DNS server itself when we have to configure all the options of DNS server. So I'm just going to create. So everyone has gone back to the snapshot 1 of either server 3 or 4 or 2 and 3. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay.
well,
Maybe.
that is
Okay.
not join the domain and work.
Just take it.
Okay, I still have some breathing space here. Oh, serious. So because it's on 4 MB, so guys, if you have started the servers, you can give this IP and this name. So it could be something totally different that we haven't used. So 2021, and the name is server 20. And again, this would be 21.
On server 1, server 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Snapshot 1 and
Yeah. So snapshot 1, go back to that. Do not join it to domain. Just start them after snapshot 1, and do not join them to domain. So I'll give it 4 GB.
At the same time, I put the server one and keep them out of the whatever the domain thing and everything. They are recording.
If yeah. So server 2 and 3 you're talking about?
No, 3 and 4.
3 and 4.
So,
So
you know, their record is already existing on server 1, right? So are they going to use this and keep them out as well?
well, we're not going to be communicating with them. So if you delete the record, it's okay. But shut down server 1 and 2 if they are being. So guys, we're not going to be using server 1. It's better to shut down because it's DNS. Although it's not going to be 3 and 4 or 2 and 3 will not be communicating with our server 1. But still, it's just to clarify and be not confused. Let's just shut down server 1. So we're going to clearly know that. Oh, okay. We just want to shut down. We want to just work on standalone DNS server. So shut down server 1.
Then what about the VMnet?
VMnet has to be exactly the same, 15.15 or 8. We don't need internet connection. So 15.15, 14.14. IP setting, so this is IP. So 220, 221. Huh? Without a gateway, we can. Okay, well, we're going to give the same gateway that we gave before. So it's going to be 255.255.255.0, and then the gateway is GW is 192.168.200.50 and 192.168.200 dot. So this machine talks to itself when it comes to DNS, right? And this machine talks to itself when it comes to DNS. So gateway is 50, but here it's 20, right? So what we are doing is giving their gateway have to be similar because they need to talk to each other. But when they are getting a DNS name resolution service, they are just giving it to themselves right now. They don't know about each other, and they will be knowing about each other later when we start configuring them, right? So first machine, server 20, has a gateway 50, but has the preferred DNS as its own IP. Second machine, 21, its gateway being 50, but the preferred DNS is its own IP. They just are talking in terms of DNS to themselves, right? So they're not offering any name resolution to anyone else. These are the only two machines in our network, and they don't know about each other's existence as well. But we're gonna tell them that's the main thing. We need to replicate, start doing the replication for them. We're gonna tell them that, hey, there's a partner there. Just go ahead and replicate with this partner, right?
There is problem that this is not shown. The current state will be lost.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So you're going for snapshot 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just kidding. And so 4, you went back to snapshot 1?
Yes.
It's suspended. So let's start that. So guys, we got the IP 20 and preferred DNS 20, 21 and preferred DNS 21. Yay! So I am also nearly there, very very near. Okay, so let's install the DNS role only inside both servers one by one. If you're there already, and if you know how to install the DNS role, then you can go ahead. On both server, we need a DNS role. So I'm just gonna give VMnet 15. We don't need internet connection here, so I'll just VMnet 8. VMnet 15. So here also I'm just giving VMnet 15 so they could just talk to each other. That's all we need. All right.
We have 15, right?
Yeah. So I just gave VMnet 15 here to both machines so they could talk to each other. So VMnet 15 or VMnet 14, VMnet 12, doesn't matter. They're all. And I'm just gonna quickly put static IP there like Aziz. Static IP of server 20. I'll uncheck v6, double click v4, and go for static IP of 20 as 192.168.200.20. Yeah, you were saying? Yeah, correct. Anything else? So see this preferred DNS for 20.
Okay. Yeah, it's on.
Oh, turn down.
So when this is coming here, because we give
Yeah.
turn down.
where it started, it doesn't show.
It's I'm showing the DNS.
All right. Oh, did you put starting again, Renee?
Oh no.
Rashtraji.
Somebody else will get for it.
Of course not. Yeah, sorry.
Current server active server 3. Okay. Yeah. So did you put the server 1?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So let's put 20 here. No. So just put. Okay. Yay! And then here just what? Okay. That's our 3. So 4, same thing, but 21, right? So you know where to go and what to.
Yeah. The same thing, right?
Yeah. But 21.
Yes.
All right. So 20 here, press OK. And server 5, I'll just quickly go for this local server. And if you install the DNS as well, let's wait then. So 192.168, second one is 192.168.200.21 tab, and then 192.168.200.50, and the second one is 192.168.200.21. Again, right? So you've put in that, Anwar?
Yes.
Yep. All right. Press OK here, yay, and close, yay. And then we go for local server here, computer name, change, and server 21. Yeah, I know we're bored to death. Bored to death. Okay. Start now. So here also, I'm sure I did not change the name. I was gonna say change the name. So server 20. So okay, kind of rooted done. Okay, so server 5 is back, and I just want to install the DNS role. So if the IP addressing and naming is not there, we're going to be confused. That's why we're taking our time to do that. Now I have server 4 and 5 here, and I'll just go to server slow. Oh. So this one is Volkswagen, and that is Volkswagen 1875, right? Good. So guys, I'm just gonna let's go back to the diagram and just track our progress here. We gave that IP here, we gave the name server 20 and IP 20, server 21, IP 21 here, and then we're just gonna install the DNS role here, DNS role here and here. Once we install the DNS role, now we are concerned with that how would they know about each other. So the main task here is configure application, and we have to tell each other that each DNS must know that the other DNS exists. So how do we let them know that the other DNS exists? Okay, guys. So I haven't installed DNS role. Anyone who is not installed? You're not installed. You're installed. You're done. You're done. That's what you're done. You're the chief guest, so whatever you say today, we're gonna do that. We're not gonna leave now. Yeah.
So I have
Oh, you're about to
I
say
have
that. Okay.
I have a question. Even the DNS, when we install the DNS, they are asking again the restart the destination service.
Did it say that?
Yeah.
Restart destination service? Oh, when you renamed it, right?
No.
That's normal.
That's normal.
That's normal.
Okay, that.
So should no or yes?
Yes.
Of course. Okay.
Alright, guys. So if the second DNS server is there, then go for first server and install DNS role. How do we do that? So server 4 I'm there, or the first server I'm there, or server 20 actually I'm there. So dashboard, add roles and features. I'm not there.
Yes, sir, I have completed.
DNS?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the only one behind. That's not fair. Okay, next. So DNS server, this one. Add feature. So that's the only role we're installing. Next, right? And restart. If it wants to, it will. Otherwise, it won't. Install.
Oh, you said
Good.
any integrated DNS, right?
You're kidding me. That was a nice heart attack on me. So dashboard here. I'm gonna go there. So add roles and features here. And next. So I'm just gonna install the DNS server here. Add features. Next. And restart. Yes, if it wants, it will. Otherwise, it won't. So. For 20 and 21. Now they are 20 and 21. Yeah. So in fact, I'll just rename that to, so in order to not be, because 4 or 5 do appear there. So after that what? 20 and 21. Okay, here. So DNS is installed. Yay. DNS is on both, right? Now, if DNS is installed on both and everyone is done and nobody's left behind, and nobody is telling me that he or she is left behind, so this means we are going ahead, right? Left behind or right behind? Left behind.
I don't know whether.
Left or right?
Okay.
Just putting my
Oh, sorry? You getting your IPs?
So just renaming the server, so it's restarting.
Okay.
So I have to install DNS
Yes.
and then I'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Next slide.
Next class. Next topic. Okay. So here. So when you're there, let me know. Right. So we're installing the DNS. Once your install is done, let me know. And yeah, that 10-minute break. So guys, that will be the only break we'll have, and then we'll go straight ahead. Let's guys keep it to 10 minutes. Let's quickly go inside and do that. Zooming now and just talking about, so there are different areas that we need to configure. So one is that if DNS role is installed, so I'm just gonna really fly by and do that. Oh, DNS is installed for me here. Oh, actually it's installed on both, right? So now let's open DNS manager on both. Yay! Server 1, server 20, and server 21. we just open the server manager there, right? So once we open the server manager there, so what we need to do is that we have to check what's configured, what's not configured, and then we further configure whatever we want to. So we're going to create some fake records there, and those records will be 3A records we can create, and their pointer records should be there as well if it's possible, because those machines do not exist actually, right? Those machines do not exist. So 3A records, we can just go for PTR01, PTR0203, PTR02, PTR03 there, and also 192.168.200. Because we use already 2021, so we can just go for 30, 31, 32. So we're just creating some records just to show that, okay, there are some machines here. 31. So let's go ahead and create those A records there. And what ultimately we want is that, okay, suppose there are some records populated there. Once we configure the replication, will they automatically show up on the other DNS server? While they are both standalone DNS servers, will they replicate? Will something show up from first DNS server to the second DNS server here? Without the help of Active Directory. Before it was all going on under Active Directory. Now without the help of Active Directory, let's try to check that. And there are so many areas of DNS that we need to know. So anyone ever heard of root hints before? Hints of the roots. Roots of what?
DNS servers names?
Which DNS servers?
The network
Which network?
you're working with.
That we're working with? No. So root hints are the top DNS servers on the planet Earth. So why root hints? What's with the root hints here? So if we go for a basic diagram here,
Resolve the queries which is related.
across the planet, whatever queries are being, suppose somebody wants to go to yahoo.com, some DNS server has to resolve that, because it's just an IP, but we have put a name, and with the help of DNS, we can reach that name. So definitely, as you said, so root hints would be the top DNS servers around the planet Earth. If all root hints are taken down by some very sophisticated attack, then of course our name resolution across the planet will be gone. So you have to go to google.com as 29.38.42.62 and yahoo.com as 81.98. What am I saying? So yeah, it will all be IP address, right? So root hints, top DNS servers across the planet. What has this to do with what we're doing? So what happens is that suppose there is an environment here and the user is typing the domain name the first time. So what happens is that there's that DNS server, an Active Directory, and AD and DNS server, or standalone, doesn't matter. So the user types some new name that has not been typed before, like tastybiryani.com. So biryani, okay, no, biryani.com. So the user in this environment, in this network local, has put that name there. So first of all, of course, the client machine with which the user is logged in, the client machine will check its cache.
I'm sorry, I'm asking a very silly question.
No.
What
Okay.
you are planning
Just
to
kidding.
do
Yeah.
actually?
Huh?
What you are planning to do?
So when I said root hints, anyone knows?
Yeah.
So I was gonna explain what is root hint.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you heard my collective. No, okay. I don't have collective. So, guys, what are root hints? So we're talking about this topic, right? Root hints. So, but this will tell us a lot of other things that we want to know, right? So, if an end user in a company types some domain name here. That name, this tastybiryani.com, of course, there is no machine in the network with this name, right? So what happens is, first of all, it checks its cache. The computer checks its own cache. It checks its memory, that do you have this name in this computer cache? Maybe somebody else used that name, so the second user would find it cached locally, but it will not find it. So it will check then the DNS server, right? So in the DNS server, a DNS server will also check its cache and locally saved addresses. It will say that, oh, I cannot find that too. Okay, so DNS server has a forwarder configured. So that forwarder just means that, oh, if you don't know any queries, if you don't know the IP behind it, if you don't know which server is hosting this domain name, then if the DNS doesn't know, it always forwards that request, right? So IP. Now DNS doesn't know. Okay, nobody accessed the TCP before. So it has a forwarder, and the forwarder has the IP of the ISP DNS, and our ISP here is Roger, right? Rogers. So this is, I'm making very simple right now. Otherwise, of course, you have to go for the next hop, which is your router. From the router, there's a next hop for the ISP's router, and then it's DNS server. So the DNS server says, oh, I don't know that. So why don't I forward that request to my ISP DNS? ISP DNS says that, oh man, that's a totally different new domain name here. Nobody accessed, I never had to open for anyone this name, so I also don't know. Let me check with the root hints, which is just the dot on the top, and these are the top domains, right? And the dot represents that the top spot of the, so top top DNS servers that the query goes to. So dot represent the top domain. So root hint say tastybiryani.com. I don't know about that. So any one of the big bosses across the planet which are handling all the DNS traffic, they say, oh, I don't know about tastybiryani.com, but I know about those servers that deal with .com domains. So root hints refer this query to those DNS servers that deal with .com domains. And once this query goes to those DNS servers across the planet which deal with .com, they say, okay, yeah, I know that server which deals with the which is hosting this domain tastybiryani.com, right? So that forwarding that I'm trying to show here is that and this could be some hosting package, a hosting company, right, that is hosting this. So what happened is that how the query really travels and how the root hints really help with every query, DNS query that is new to them, right? So how DNS query works, right? So, and how root hints help find any new domain name. So enemy name, right? So here what I'm trying to say is that the travel starts if the domain name is not known. It will go to the local DNS server of the company. The company has a forwarder, and we're going to go to that place now, forwarder as well, that where do you configure forwarder, where do you configure root hints. The forwarder forwards that request to the ISP DNS. ISP DNS does not have that also cached in. None of the user ever used that before through this ISP, which is strange. So then it goes directly to root hints. It goes to the .com servers, .com domains who deal with .com domains. Then it goes to the actual company that is hosting this domain, right? So this is how majority of the queries work for any new domain that has never been used before, has never been accessed before. The first time somebody is accessing, so it has to travel through and it has to touch some root hint DNS server out on the planet Earth in order to grab that name resolution, in order to get to that address. So this will have the yanni.com. So now what will happen? Of course, the website will open. So the ISP host will make direct contact with this site, with the hosting site. Okay, and this is all happening in milliseconds, right? And this information is sent back to this local DNS server, and this information is sent back to that client that was actually accessing that. So the client, tastybrain.com, first time he or she has opened that site, it might take certain milliseconds to open. Oh, it's taking longer. Our network is slow. It's like in 1 or 2 seconds it will open, right? Next time, any other user who is accessing that from another computer, what will happen? From another computer, some client is accessing the same site. Somebody said, oh, it's very tasty biryani there, blah, blah, blah. So the other end user types the same name. Now what will happen? Anyone can tell me? It will take less time, but what route it will take?
Only the first DNS server. Because you
So-
can check its cache.
So this means that first of all, every client always checks its own local cache, local memory, and then if it doesn't find that, if it's a new server, new computer, first time you have put that name, of course it's not going to find that. So definitely it's going to go to the local DNS server. But this time, as you said, that this DNS server has already cached that domain name information and which company is hosting that. It has that information cached here. So this second end user's travel will be from here to here. That's it, and onwards, right? But the first one goes through if the forwarder was configured, if the ISP, well, all other ISPs of course will keep on then checking. So it, the new names always touch the root ends unless some of the media in the middle, some of the DNS servers in the middle, somebody from other, it's an ISP DNS, right? So most probably thousands and thousands of users are connecting, right? So any of the other users may have already accessed that website. So normally the travel stops here. It doesn't have to go to the root ends. ISP, they have cached huge amount of sites already. So normally it just finishes at the, so ISP must have, like 20, 30, 40, 80 DNS servers there, and thousands of users are connecting, right? So that's how large scale it is. But the main thing is, do we know how to go for or how to recognize that what is the path of a search for a DNS query, right? And why did I start the root hints anyway? So we have opened our DNS manager there in server 3. So root hints are like top servers across the planet. So what have they to do with our servers, our DNS servers, right? So let's go and open our DNS manager, which is already open. Somebody is already there. So server 20, if you see that server 20 and you right click here, and do you see this properties, right? Server 20 and properties. So anywhere you see root hints, right? So root hints tab here. So you can see a lot of names here, a lot of name a.root-servers.net, right? That could be hundreds of servers in the background, thousands of servers in the background, right? So just like if you hit Google, it's not one server hosting that, it's hundreds of servers, because there are millions of users hitting Google per minute maybe, so per second maybe. So these root hint names are not supposed to be messed with unless the boss says, or some security very sensitive security institute says that no query goes out of this, or it has to go through our specific software. So we're going to remove all these root hints from our DNS server, and don't let any query outside unless we know that who is searching what and which website they're going, if it's a military institute or some intelligence agency or something, right? So otherwise this information is always there, it must not be messed with. It is updated by Microsoft itself for all the root hint server that it wants added there. Maybe there are much more root hint servers there than the list here, but this is one thing that you will have here defined already in every DNS server, in Linux DNS server also, in any other DNS server from any other vendor, right? And forwarders, which we have nothing configured there, right? So forwarder would be just blindly forwarding. Close eyes and okay, you want to send traffic to where? Whatever IP we put here. That's the next hop. It throws the traffic to the next hop. If it's a router, if it's a firewall, it would hit the firewall because it's a DNS query. So it's port 23 being used, right? Okay, port 22 being used? I don't know. So you say 53. I don't know. 23? Okay, there. You agree? 53? 53? Anyone? So DNS is 53, right? So you would want to, if you're putting, in the router you're configuring something, so you have to then put that port 53 and the IP of this DNS server, and it will be expecting traffic from port 53, which is DNS traffic, going through or coming into. Suppose it's coming from outside, so as a return query, so it will hit that server and resolve those names there. But you have to put some, or you may want to put those any IP, next hop IP there. It could be your ISP DNS server directly in a small environment. In a large environment, it could be your router and port 53 defined and IP defined there, right? Mapped. So forwarders blindly just send. That's it. But then you can see this conditional forwarders.
Yes.
So there's a forwarders blindly send, and conditional forwarder is that you want to send traffic to a specific domain. For example, there are so many users for bitcoin.com. Suppose there's a site called bitcoin.com, right? So you see a lot of traffic, and your company is actually dealing with finances. It's a financial institute, and it's kind of a business use that the traffic is going to the bitcoin.com. So you can simply create a record for bitcoin.com there, and or it's not a record. It's going to be information about that domain created in conditional forwarder, and it will only send if the traffic, if there are hundreds of users in the company wants to go to bitcoin.com, the request will come to the DNS server. DNS server will say, oh yeah, we have a specific conditional forwarder for that. So if any traffic comes there, just don't search anywhere. Do not search your cache records. Simply go to the conditional forwarder and throw that traffic directly to that site, bitcoin.com, right? So that would be conditional forwarder. That the condition is I want to go to that exact domain. I don't want to ask other DNS servers if I haven't gone through there before. So directly just take me to that site. Forwarder, it's blindly forwarding to the next IP. That's it. Conditional forwarder, oh, you're going for that specific domain. Let me send that traffic there for you, right? So root hints, it's the top DNS servers that ultimately will answer your query, right? Ultimately, they will answer your query. If nobody can answer, they will know. So it would be .ca domain, .com domain, .work domain, .biryani domain. Hey, why there is no .biryani domain? There is all kind of weird domains there. Okay, anyway, so let's go ahead.
And sir, how many conditional forwarders we can?
As many.
As many as we want?
Yeah. So guys, I was there. Let's go to conditional forwarder. Cancel out from there. I just wanted to show you where the root hints are. What is the purpose of that? Where our forwarder is. I'm just going for the easiest one. Then we're going to go for a little more complicated ones.
So you can have it either or, right? Either you have a conditional forwarder or a forwarder. You cannot have both.
We can have both as well. So forwarder is just forward. So forwarder is sending traffic to the ISP DNS, suppose. So condition forwarder is one specific domain, second specific domain, third specific domain. It has to still go through ISP DNS to even reach that domain, right? So when everything is going through that, so forwarder is taking us to that route. So if I go to condition forwarder here.
No, but if the forwarder is only the forward the traffic, if it blindly sends
DNS
the
traffic.
Yeah. So what is the use for forwarder?
To forward the traffic.
No, but as you said, that this is blindly send the traffic, right?
We may need that because specific domain means there are millions of domains on the internet. Oh, I was about to create that. So I was going to create conditional forwarder for Bitcoin.com or CNN.com. This is a journalism, some agency, and they want all to be accessing all the mainstream news sites. So I'll just put CNN.com. Conditional forwarder will take traffic only if there's only one conditional forwarder we created. So it will take to CNN.com. Forwarder will take any traffic throughout the internet anywhere. So forwarder is, yes, it's blindly forwarding, but it's throwing traffic to the internet where it's supposed to go. Somebody's typing yahoo.com, somebody's typing hotmail.com, somebody's typing gmail.com. So that's like hundreds of sites. They have to be forwarded to the DNS ISP to be opened. Conditional forwarder will not do that.
Yeah.
It is a specific domain, right? But we cannot type all millions of domains here. Okay. So if you, conditional forwarder, why would you even use that conditional forwarder?
To send the specific data to the specific location.
If there's large amount of users
Yes.
accessing the same website every day, create a conditional forwarder, it will be faster, right?
And more secure, I think so. Is it?
Faster.
Yeah.
The direction is just that side. From this traffic, that side. This traffic, that side, right? Forwarder, we still need that. It has to. It is giving us a route outside, right?
For the internet, you use the conditional forward.
Especially conditional forwarder is used when you have two companies collaborating with each other and your employees, especially in a forest trust. We create that lab, forest trust, in this course in the start. So we had to configure conditional forwarder in one forest and the second forest. So that's a specific domain. Lots of users will be going to. So we just put conditional forwarder there. There are many benefits of conditional forwarder, but it again, understand, a forwarder, all traffic. Conditional forwarder, specific traffic, right?
So I think this is the good forwarder as comparison the normal one, because this conditional forwarder is taking us less space, less time.
But it's about importance.
Yeah, this is, of course, this is the importance.
This both are important if the purpose, whatever your requirement is, you use that forwarder according to the requirement. Company wants to regularly access internet. All the employees want to regularly access internet. You need a forwarder. Anyway, conditional forwarder is not configured. Forwarder is configured. Yes, that's compulsory. Forwarder has to be configured. Conditional forwarder is configured, but forwarder is not configured. That's kind of a problem then, right? Now, one question will arise in, I don't know whose mind, but let me see how soon that people ask that question. So I was expecting at this point that question, but anyway, I'll just wait for some more time. So I'll just continue. It's a surprise now. So okay, conditional forwarder. We just quickly need to create one conditional forwarder. I just want to explain one more thing there. The good thing about conditional forwarder is, so let's go right click here and click new conditional forwarder. When you create it, you will know better, right? You will remember that too. So new conditional forwarder here, let's click that. Once it is clicked, suppose it's a journalism agency, it's a news agency, and you want to go for CNN.com. So DNS domain name could be CNN.com. What happens is that it asks here IP addresses of the master servers. So DNS for the CNN.com, right? So either you will still put here CNN.com, and because we're not connected to internet, it's gonna fail, of course. But if we were connected to internet, it's gonna try to communicate with the CNN.com. It's gonna try to check what DNS servers it has, how many DNS servers it has, and suppose it gets information about one DNS server there. So second thing is, it's gonna start collecting information about, oh, CNN.com is a huge site, so maybe there are 2 or 3 DNS servers there. And then suppose after 6 months, CNN.com changes the IP of its DNS servers. So conditional forwarder updates that too. So automatically you will always have DNS traffic going towards that site which you define in conditional forwarder. It will keep on updating any background changes to the IP addresses of the DNS server of that site. As long as the name is there, it's going to keep on resolving it to who is their DNS server. Oh, CNN.com added 6 more DNS servers. It will start adding the master servers here. So it keeps data, changing data of that destination here. It keeps on changing, whatever is changing there is going to keep on updating that data. Yep.
That's the difference between the conditional forwarder and the cache of the server.
The cache would be not changed. It will be whenever somebody tries to access that, oh, there's a new information, then it will update. But this is intelligent. This is intelligent, right? Automatic, exactly. If there's some change there, it's gonna update its new records there. So that's why if it's an important destination and large amount of users are going there, better create a conditional forwarder for that, which will automatically update any changes on the DNS side of that site, right? We understand that? So it's more intelligent than forwarder. Forwarder does not update anything. Forwarder is traffic coming that way, and it keeps on going that way, right? Proxy server is mainly for the web application, and we use proxy servers. And proxy server would be that you have some application through which internet has to go, and then when it is going, it will cache all the sites. It will also make the internet faster because of caching, and then you can control the internet traffic by blocking the ports of the sites and the actual site itself. But that's an application that is controlling the internet. Now this is DNS traffic going to printers as well. Somebody wants to access printers by name. Somebody wants to access servers by name. So with proxy server, it's dealing with internet and websites only. Well, there was an application ISA server, maybe ISA, Internet Security and Acceleration Server. It was dealing with websites as well as telnet ports and other ports as well. But they created it as a firewall as well. But proxy server basically handles internet. Internet has to go through that application, and then you can block sites and cache sites for fast access and secure the internet as well. Yep. Like a gateway for internet. Okay, guys. So we understand conditional forwarder, right? And we understand forwarder. We understand route hints. So route hints and forwarders are the same thing. True or false? That was two simple questions, just to know that we are all awake, right? Although we are awake, yeah. That was very, very simple question. I was like, what kind of question is that, Teach? You're kidding me? So anyway, so let's cancel out from here. But we did that lab. If you want to still remember where did we use conditional forwarder, just go back to the Forest Trust lab. There we specifically use conditional forwarders to tell one forest that there is another forest on the other side, and told the other forest there's that first forest here. So conditional forwarders on both sides updated each other, right? So that's just one part of the DNS server. I was just going for all those portions there. Now, are we on server 20 here? We're all on server 20, right? And you're on server 21?
I have a 21.
Yeah, it's okay. Doesn't matter. I don't know why I asked that. So anyway, so forward lookup zone here. So we have this forward lookup zone not configured at all. If you go to reverse lookup zone, it's not configured as well, right? So if you go to forward lookup zone, now we have to create some zone there. Anyone can define a zone, or the domain name system DNS allows our DNS namespace to be divided into zones.
Area.
Yeah.
Zone is the area.
Area of configuration, section of configuration. So each zone stores information. Each zone stores information about one or more contiguous DNS domains. So what it is saying in English is that DNS namespace. What is a DNS namespace? CNN.com is a DNS namespace. Netplus domain.local is a DNS namespace. Any domain name is a DNS namespace. Is called DNS namespace. So you can have it divided into zones. What does that mean? Toronto.netplusdomain.local. Netplusdomain.local main domain. Then there is New York.netplusdomain.local and downtown.newyork.netplusdomain.local. You can further keep on dividing them into zones. So we can create a zone for New York.netplusdomain.local. We can create a zone for just netplusdomain.local as well. So we're about to create a zone for our DNS namespace. when I say that we're trying to we're trying to create a zone for DNS namespace, what is the benefit of that? Netplus domain.local. I'm about to create a DNS namespace. The benefit I will get is what? What are the day-to-day tasks I'm going to do with that DNS namespace?
The benefit will be to know the exact parent name where the branch is coming from.
Okay, that's one of the benefits. Exactly. Day-to-day tasks. I have 5,000 computers and 200 servers and 50 printers. So all that goes under this name. So there's a Toronto branch. Toronto branch has 5,000 computers. So client 01 dot netplusdomain.local, it again finishes into one DNS namespace. So when we create a zone now and we give a domain name there, so all the resources under that domain name can be placed here. So if the printer is in Toronto branch, so toronto.netplusdomain.local, we can just put that. So printer.netplusdomain.local can be placed there. Server1.netplusdomain.local can be placed there, and client01.netplusdomain.local, user1.security group. So any resource can be placed here, and then we can access that by name. So let's create a new DNS namespace that it says here, and then create some fake A records for that. So when we create records in a DNS namespace, that means suppose it's netplusdomain.local. So 3 printers, printer 01, printer 02, printer 03 dot netplusdomain.local, right? What happened? Updates?
Only just shutting it down by itself.
Oh, yikes. Hey, you okay? You okay? Yes, we are both okay. So far so good, but oh, is it expired? Yeah, if it is expired on the right side here, above the clock, if it's expired, it's gonna shut down every half an hour.
Oh.
So you can add a second network card and put it on VMnet 8. It will grab the, So, okay guys, here forward lookup zone. Let's create a zone here. Let's right click new zone. For now, only forward lookup zone. We're gonna go for reverse lookup zone as well.
Not the others as well. Like the reverse
Reverse lookup zone. No, we're gonna be creating that later. For now, forward lookup zone, guys. So right click forward lookup zone here and click new zone. Welcome to the new zone wizard. Next. Hey, that's Pink Panther, my favorite. Oh, thank you, sir. Okay. So next, anyone watching that video at home, you have no idea what happened. Okay. So when we go next, there is primary zone, secondary zone, stub zone, and you can see that this always, we used to see that whenever we're creating zones, that if it was on domain controller, you would see that this is always checked. Store the zone in Active Directory, but there is no Active Directory. So this automatically detects that, oh, no Active Directory, okay, this will just gray out. If you had installed this DNS server on an Active Directory or domain controller, you would see this option available to be checked or unchecked. Right now it's grayed out, no Active Directory here, right? So primary zone and secondary zone, we know about that. First of all, it creates a database file for the zone. When we say database file, what would be inside that database file?
Information, data.
For example, users, computers, users, security groups, organizational units, right? They're looking at my facial expression. That's not great, right? So I'm going to hide here, and I'm then going to ask that the DNS database has users, security groups, OUs. Somebody said no already. So it's a true or false question now.
What? Can you repeat the
So DNS database that we're about to create here contains users, security groups, OUs.
No,
Why not?
because the DNS is not kind of the communication between the data. It is communication between one machine to
It's not directly related.
Very good, man.
Really?
But anyway,
No, just for. Just
I
for
had
my,
2 chicken legs. You had 3. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Maybe 4 actually. It's a bullseye. Exactly. So, guys, if you have 4 chicken legs, always answers are correct. Okay. So, yes. So DNS database is about to create will have machine names and IPs. Machine name, IP. Machine name, IP. That's it. Right? Exactly, you were there already. So, and that was correctly said. So primary zone has it will create a DNS file and it will have the machine name and IP. Secondary zone will have users, security groups. If primary zone doesn't have, then the secondary zone will have it, right?
No.
Okay. So, what's the difference?
Explain. From the primary zone.
It will get replicated from primary zone. What else is the difference? Hey, you can see all in your screen. Why am I hiding here? Huh? What? Replicate.
Yeah.
What else is the difference? What else is the
Copy one server to another.
Okay, everyone is saying that primary will copy to secondary, secondary will copy to primary, right?
It's LCBO. And this is
LCBO with cannabis.
Secondary is a read only.
Yes, secondary is read only. Primary is read and write. So you can make changes in secondary and you cannot make changes in primary.
no.
Okay. No, we all had 4 legs, right? Okay, so anyway, so primary zone can create a DNS file that has machine name and IP, machine name and IP, machine name and IP, and you can make modifications there, right? Secondary zone, you cannot make modifications there. Why would you even deploy it?
This is the obvious, right?
No, then that was a bazooka. Oh, what did it say, teacher? This is obvious. Oh no! Tell me, why would you? No, this is obvious. You're right about that. But why would you even deploy it when you cannot even make modification? Huh? No, LCB on cannabis. No. Now, you're all saying load balancer, right? That's okay. Prove me now that it is for load balancing. Yeah.
Suppose you have another office in downtown and they don't have a system administrator, so you just put in the server and you just put the secondary zone there.
So
It is just replicate from like where you put the primary zone in the main office, so is a system administrator there, he just make the changes there and the secondary zone will get the replicate.
so nobody gets to modify it.
Nobody get to modify it. When
Exactly.
you don't have access to that.
So this means that hackers cannot attack that. This means replication always. If one branch has primary zone, second branch has secondary zone, replication always goes from secondary to primary here.
No.
What?
Vice versa.
So replication between primary and secondary when happens,
Yeah.
so it is always one way. It goes from secondary to primary.
Why
Oh.
secondary?
Why secondary?
It's a read only.
So?
Primary to secondary is a
Why?
repetition because that's reading only. The changes over there.
Yes. Oh. I think. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and Canada Dry as well. For someone watching. So okay, guys. So we get to know that primary zone creates a copy of a zone and can be updated directly on the server. Yes, we get that. Let's create that primary zone here. So it's going to create a DNS file now. It's going to give a path of the DNS file there, and we're going to give a domain name here. So primary zone is selected. Click next.
So what was the question that you asked in the beginning about users and computers?
Yeah, so a DNS file that we're about to create here deals with OUs, users, and security groups.
Are you throwing me under the bus or is it just information?
It was a trap. It was a carefully knitted trap. It was a bigger bus. Yeah.
Because it's not.
No, but you answered correctly already. That
It's not
it's,
registering. Why is it saying
that was a deliberate trap.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's the fun part. Yeah, I can. After 20 years, there will be holograms here. So I'll be creating, and then okay, this guy is coming here to attack this guy. How would you repel that attack? You will have a, and you lightsaber. Okay, so anyway,
He's actually bad at his movement.
we got the Jedi movement, right? I have the sound effects as well.
You have 3 kids now. You have 3 of them.
So I watched that 20 million times. I would have those moments anyway. Okay, so biryani tasty.
Biryani.
Why did I put it?
Tasty biryani.
Yeah, it's supposed to be tasty biryani.
This is a new zone and
Wow, what is it?
primary.
Yeah, it's a new zone and primary zone. So guys, why would you not put .com here? Why would you put .local here? And is that a big deal if we put .com here? This is a local environment. I'm putting $.com here. Is that good idea, bad idea?
It's not a good idea at all,
Why?
because this is not a route. We have to go to the biryani. Tasty is the parent, and the I'm not trying to explain actually, but my
No, explain. I feel hurt already, but it's okay. You can explain. No, just kidding.
so .com means like biryani tasty is a father, and the we are the child.
What about the chicken?
When you
Father chicken or the child chicken?
or chicken came first or the egg? It gets complicated here.
So now you're trying to say the government should step
Okay. Okay. So the chicken biryanitasty.com. What was I talking about? Chicken or egg? Okay. So the thing is that .com, if you put there, it's okay. Why? When you connect to your now the latest trend cloud, when you connect to your Office 365, and that have also this domain there, or if you have an Exchange server locally and you have this domain .com, and you have Office 365 which also has this domain added there, so it will not have any conflict when you connect Office 365 with this domain. It will be actually good to have if you have your company has a hybrid environment where locally you have a lot of users and on the cloud you have a lot of users. So better create your local domain as .com if that's the same domain in Office 365 as well. So users there will be John at biryanitasty.com, and here that same name can be synchronized here too, John at biryanitasty.com, locally as well. They can synchronize easily, right? So but if the domain name there is different and you don't want to put it here, bosses normally are the boss, they say no, we don't want to go that way, we don't want to connect our hybrid environment that way. So in that case you can put .local here as well. Both work, but .com will work. Let's put that. So .com will work if you have cloud and hybrid connected and synchronizing everything. If they are synchronizing, better go for local domain as the cloud domain. It's daily synchronizing everything, up and down, up and down. So, but right now we're just going to go for local. And suppose we do have biryanitasty.com, but we don't plan to have any collaboration there between our hybrid environment or local environment and the cloud. Cloud is also having a full data center there, right? AWS, Azure, those are data centers waiting for you to be used. Full data centers. Storage, networking, virtual machines, right? Everything is there. So if you want to connect those environments here, you can go with same domain name as up there, or you can go with different domain names. Both are okay.
You're saying that the local to be a local
Data center, local company
.com is
in the cloud.
so you're saying that it could be either same,
They can be same as well,
or it can be
different as well. they will work both way. They will work easier if you have day-to-day, everyday transactions between the cloud data center and your local data center. That is called hybrid environment. Just to differentiate that this machine is coming from our local data center, that machine in the monitoring tool, when there are logs that are looking for, you can go for the machine. Oh, this is our local machine. Yeah, it's not on the cloud, and this is on the cloud. So you can identify them separately. So like we don't want to mix the cloud machines with the local machines. So you give a different name, you would identify right away, right? Otherwise, if there is migration going on, there is up and down going on sometimes here, or there is replication going on between the cloud. So then better to give that machine the same domain name as well. Yeah.
Same name.
No, same domain name. So
Yeah,
computer01.baranitac.com.local. If it's replicating to cloud, so that machine name can have the domain name of the cloud, which is baranitac.com here in the local and .com there in the cloud as well. Where its replication partner will have the same name up there. Replication means one active, one passive, right? So in Azure we can create that, in AWS we can create that. And this is a scenario you will be facing a lot now. Hybrid. Connect here to there, connect there to here. Right? Yeah, you're saying?
So if we chose the .com, what about if there's another domain name or website with the same
Oh,
domain?
we have
Would
to
that
be.
make it a conflict?
Oh yeah, big conflict. So make sure if you're putting .com here that you own the actual .com on the internet as well.
So we'll have to
If you
figure out-
don't own that, don't go for that.
we'll have to search for it.
Search for it. If you own that site on the internet only, then it's beneficial to go that way. So that's a very good point. Exactly. That answers your question as well. What was the question? Okay. So baranitac.local. So .com can be there and .local can be there as well. DNS can just have that zone created for that. So click next here after you put .local. Now this is the DNS file. Create a new file with this file name. So suppose we create, suppose there are 10,000 client machines in your network. They all join to the domain. So their A records and pointer records will be created inside this file. If you back up that file, go to, suppose you are taking backup daily and one day your DNS goes down, both DNS goes down. So you can restore all the A records there from the backup, or you are just migrating the server. In that case, normally DNS migration. When would you use backup for that? You know how DNS migration happens? It replicates, right? When there is replication, suppose there is a 2008 DNS, there is a 2012 DNS. When they are both replicating, they are exactly on the same configuration level. If there are 10,000 A records here, there are 10,000 A records here as well because they are replicated. So you don't have to, restore from backup unless both go down. Then you have the backup is your only choice of survival. So the thing is that when you migrate, you don't need a backup. But this file still is always a good idea. If it's a standalone server, go ahead and take a backup of that. If it's an Active Directory integrated DNS, when you take the backup of Active Directory, just select DNS as well at that time. It will take the backup of both, right? So, but the file is this. This is the name of the file, right? That's where my question was, that it contains users and OUs and security groups. So anyway, this file is being created next. And then allow only secure dynamic updates is grayed out. Why? Why this is grayed out? There is no Active Directory. So secure means Active Directory knows that DNS server. It is added to Active Directory domain. Then Active Directory is considered as secure. Allow both non-secure and secure. This means that standalone servers or member servers. Secure means Active Directory knows that server. Non-secure means it's out of the domain. It's standalone. It's not joined to the domain. That is called non-secure, right? So what we can do here, do not allow dynamic updates. What will happen if we keep it like that? How? For example.
For example, you can say using same name.
Mhm.
Say there's another one more IP address is linked for the same name, and you wouldn't get information.
IP conflict you're saying, or name conflict? Well, that was what DNS does, but do not allow dynamic updates.
Like if let's say you change IP addresses and stuff, it will not be updated, isn't it? Something like that.
Kinda, but dynamic updates of resource records are not accepted by this zone. You must update these records manually.
Maybe unwanted updates which we don't want to update.
Well,
many
kinda.
applications like that.
No.
So we can
Mhm.
stop that.
Mm,
And we can update according to our requirements, whatever our requirement is.
yeah, could be that. What you said also, that if you're joined to domain, so what happens in Active Directory integrated DNS? When the computer joins to the domain, automatically its name is added to the DNS server there, automatically. If you go for do not allow dynamic updates, so it's saying dynamic updates of resource records are not accepted by this zone. Now resource records are A records, pointer records, MX records, CNAME records, records. No, there's no record. Okay. So, but what happens is that if you have A records or pointer records, this zone will not accept any automatic change in that. So suppose second DNS server, you made a change in the A record. So it was server 1, you made it server 2, and the IP is same. But this update will not come to this DNS server. This first DNS server will not accept that automatically. You have to go to this first DNS server and also double click there and put server instead of 1, you have to put 2, right? So that's a lot of effort. If it's a very small organization, still a lazy admin like me would not go for that. So I will go for this option. If I want to change or create a record in one DNS server, it should automatically end up in the second DNS server. That's what I want, right? I don't want to create in one, then don't want to go to the other one and then create there as well, right? Ouch. Okay, so here, allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates. So I want whatever I create in one DNS server, please tell it, update it to the second DNS server that I've done it. I don't want to go to the second one and do the same thing again. So right now we are in the non-secure zone. It's not non-secure. Active Directory does not know them, so it is considered overall as non-secure. Otherwise, if you want to maintain the standalone DNS server, you can make security available there as well. But Microsoft recommends the best security is provided by Active Directory itself. So best recommendation is go for Active Directory DNS together everywhere. But there are some requirements, some specific scenarios where you don't want to. So guys, we're not going to go for do not allow. Go for allow both non-secure and secure dynamic updates. So we update on one place, it could update on another. Let's click next. And it's creating standard primary zone. biryanitasty.local.dns is the file name. So click finito. Let's click finish. So there is that zone created here, this one, right? It has SOA, it has NS. So start of authority record. So it is the authority for all the A records that we are about to create. When we say it is the authority, what does that mean? So it has the final answer. Oh, I have this A record here, and that's it. You don't have to search anywhere else. I have the authority for the A records that I have created here. So let's quickly create some records just to understand what we're talking about. So I'm just going to go to right click here and go for new host A record. Anywhere, you can right click here, or you can right click on this area and go for new host A record. Not haste, host. So then it could be server 30, which doesn't exist. It's a fake record. And the IP could be 192.168.200.30. And if we click this, will it work? Why will it not work?
It's not there.
We didn't create what? We didn't configure reverse lookup zone yet. So if we had configured reverse lookup zone and we have checked it, it would have created the PTR record automatically in the reverse lookup zone here as well. But we didn't have it created, so if you check this, it's gonna give an error. If you uncheck it, it's okay. If I check it now and click add host, it's gonna say warning that associate pointer record cannot be created, probably because the reference reverse lookup zone cannot be found. It cannot be found because we never created it, right? So press OK here and uncheck this. Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, it's created and it has it checked. But anyway, are you on this screen? Are we all on this screen again? So, it's just a fake record, some random record here. So server 31, 192.168, 200.31. It's also a fake record. It does not lead to any device here. So add host, do not click that pointer record there. Just click add host, right? And then server 32 as well. Click that. Now it says the host record was successfully created, but there is no device on the other side to ping to or access to. So server 32 and no pointer record. Click add host, right? So okay, we created 3 A records here. So A record would be only created in forward lookup zone because it's named to IP resolution. Somebody knows the name, wants to know the IP, the request will come to the forward lookup zone. If reverse lookup zone, the record is created, anyone knows the name IP and doesn't know the name, the request will go to the reverse lookup zone, and that user or application will be able to know the reverse lookup zone. Now, if you don't create reverse lookup zone in a Windows environment, it's working fine. It's troubleshooting fine. What? Oh, I was just going in detail. Okay. It's already 9:10. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I was looking at the clock. So let's just let's just create some records here just to understand what are the other famous records that you will get the ticket for when you're in the a job environment where you're level 2, level 3 administrator, or even level 1. So if we we created A records here, right? If you right click here again, you can see aliases here. Quickly tell me what is the alias for. CNAME, canonical name, common name. Tick tock, tick tock. No. No, not exactly, but you're very near. So CNAME is
To resolve with that name as well for the same name.
yeah. So normally, in production environment, some administrators, many of the administrators I've seen that they put the server names as vague names, totally vague names. So it's SR3182 V2A. And they have their naming convention with that. SR would be, server, and then 32 would be the code for Toronto, 33 would be the code for New York. They would just create themselves. So hackers would not know that which server it is the hacker is attacking, right? So, but sometimes users say, hey, what is SR 32, 48, 50? Why don't you create an alias for us that this is a web server? So if we go for web, if we type web, it will go to that SR 32, 43, 54, right? So it could be used for, it is another name for the same server, but this name could be an easier or smaller name, right? So CNAME could be easier or smaller name for an already existing physical server or virtual server. So let's click this new alias just to see what do I mean by that. Let's click that new alias. Once you click that, it's just saying that what is the alias name. So we have in the background 3 servers there, already fake. So suppose server 32 is a web server, and clients are saying, so what is server 32? I want to just type web here, or I want to ping web here, and it should just go to server 32. I don't want to remember server 32. So if you type your very easy name, it is just asking which other existing name you want to resolve it to, or which other name you want it to go to. So this means we want to go for server 32 here, right? So we can directly type here server 32, or browse here and then double click server 20. This is the DNS server. We know that server 32 lives inside forward lookup zone. So double click forward lookup zone, We know there's a zone name there called biryani tasty.local. Double click that. Now there is your server 32, right? So users find it difficult to remember server 30, 31, 32. 31 is file server, 32 is web server, or 32 is file server, or 1 is web server. So why don't we just name it web? So I'm just gonna double click that server 32 here. So this is the new name for the existing server. Just web, or web.biryanitasty.local, right? So this means that you can make aliases or second names or nicknames for servers as well here as a record. So users will only remember this. They will forget what is server 32. We don't know. We just know web, while that web takes the users to exactly this server, right? So just to make easier or smaller names, understandable names or smaller names for already existing servers, we use alias or CNAME. Do we understand that? Any questions? Okay, so easy, right? So press OK here. So web points to server 32. That's how it is created here, right? So this also comes as a ticket in the organizations that okay, can you create CNAMEs for these printers here? So you know, like a Tor printer or your printer or fourth floor printer instead of just this name. So guys, I'm just gonna quickly check if I can ping server 32. Ping to what? Will I be able to ping a fake record here? No, I'm just not gonna ping IP. I know that there is nothing connected to this IP, but if I ping name here, server 32, does it ping an IP? It doesn't go anywhere, right? There is no device attached to that. But if I go for the local server, there is no local A record for the local server. Server 20, that exists there, right? Well, it's just giving IPv6 IP of that. So there's a machine behind that server 20. That's the local IP of that server, right? That's why it's pinging there. But there is server 32. Yeah, there is no device there, so that's why it's not pinging. So if we can put web to server 20 itself, guys, one more thing. The server's own record is still not here. Why? The DNS server must have its own record here. If it did not create that, you must create it yourself. If it is missing because of some mistake by accidental deletion, you must create the own A record and reverse record of this server 20 as well. So we know that server 20 is the name, server 20.biryanitasty.local, and the IP is 200.20. So let's just create this server 20 record here as well, which is the actual real record, right? So I'm just going to click right click here, Biryani Tasty, and just go for one more A record here. And it's the actual machine, server 20, and the actual IP. $200.20. We still don't have the reverse lookup zone, so we're not gonna click that. But best practices with DNS is always create a reverse lookup zone, because there are so much Linux machines out there and so much enterprise applications that needs a reverse lookup zone as well as a best practice.
So now that you configure reverse, you go back and check out the other reverse.
So we haven't created a reverse yet.
You know what I mean?
Reverse lookup zone has not been configured yet,
If
but we
you
will.
do,
Yeah, then it will
said that PTR records are not going to be created.
create it if
So when you configure reverse,
yeah, then it will be automatically created.
automatically.
Yeah.
So despite the fact you didn't check that out.
If we check that, then it will be automatically created there. If we don't check it, we have to create ourselves. Yep. So go ahead and click add host. Okay. Now before we start replication, or I think we may have to continue that on the other class. But you know why I'm going slow, and I'm trying to touch every portion of DNS, right? So we don't leave anything untouched there. So if we know everything about DNS, of course, then configuring anything or troubleshooting, especially anything regarding DNS, will be easier for us, right? So I can directly go for the replication like, hey, see, it appears there, yay! But we are then missing a lot of other things in the middle. So here, I'm just going to, let's just go for reverse lookup zone as well, because we created enough pointer A records there. So reverse lookup zone, right click, new zone. And again, welcome to the new zone wizard. Next. And again, it has a primary zone, secondary zone, stop zone. So it also has everything that the forward lookup zone has, right? But one resolves name to IP, second resolves IP to name, right? So it has everything there as well. So primary zone, let's keep it primary zone, and next. IPv4 reverse lookup zone, it's not IPv6 right now, so IPv4 is there. We are going to use IPv4, next. And here, what do we put here? Network ID, which is? Exactly, 192.168.200, right? So, next. And again, it's creating a reverse lookup zone file here as well. So we can take a backup of that as well. And where is it? So guys, anyone knows what is this path? System person, system root person, backslash system32, backslash DNS. Easy, right? Where is this path in C drive?
What do you mean?
Where is location, physical location of this?
Oh,
Windows? Where?
See, Windows system here, 32.
So person, system root person just means a variable for the main Windows operating system folder itself. So can we double check that? Is it inside Windows? So can you go there right now, go to C drive, go to Windows, go to system32, do you find a DNS there? DNS file there? Go to C drive, go to Windows, go to system32, go to DNS. Do you find a file there? Is it a folder or is it a file?
The folder contains 94 folders and files. There's biryani, your kitchen.
Kitchen? Chicken? Kitchen or chicken?
That's the kitchen.
Kitchen.
No, that's the kitchen.
Kitchen or chicken? Oh, okay. Or was the egg before or chicken before? Yeah. Okay, C drive, for the video, I'm just going to go to Windows and just go to System32 here. And there is supposed to be a DNS. Oh, there it is. DNS, and then the backup, the DNS file itself, right? See this? Yeah, C, Windows, System32. System32.
the small one.
And then go to D. D. No, but see this?
DNS is in small.
Okay, see this? D, and then go for alphabetical N. You know, Oxford Dictionary. Okay. So it's there, and that's the path. So let's cancel that, close that. We don't have to go there, but we wanted to confirm this path is actually the C Windows path, right? So we are back to zone file. We're creating a zone file for replication, reverse lookup zone as well. Let's click next here. Of course, we want the non-secure, secure dynamic update. We want dynamic updates. That's the main thing we want here. Dynamic updates. Automatically update the second one. Next. Finito. So reverse lookup zone has been created. Now you can see that the IP range that is attached to this DNS namespace is also showing now. But if I go to the DNS namespace, which is biryani.tasty.local, there are so many A records here. But I go to the IP range that is attached to this DNS namespace, I don't see those pointer records here. So what do I do?
Check that.
Good. Let's go back there, and first let's go for the original one. 20. Oop. So if you go for 20, server 20 here, click update, apply, okay, and then go to reverse lookup zone. See, it's there. Okay. Refresh. So let's just refresh all others. So server 30, it's already updated. If it is already updated,
No, sir. I'm sorry.
then we do. Yeah, we did that. Exact. So uncheck. Yeah, if it is already checked and the record is not there, uncheck it, apply, and then check it, apply. It will be created, right? So uncheck, apply, check, apply. Okay,
What about the alias?
does it offer the CNAME pointer record creation there? If it offers, we can click that.
No.
If it doesn't offer, no. It's just a name forwarding to another name, so there is no IP to it. So 31, 32, yeah. Uncheck, apply, check, apply. Okay. So we better have all those here. See, all those are here. Refresh. Okay, guys. So, okay, we want to have this same thing created there automatically. Yeah. Well, yes, sir.
Sir, why I have one?
Refresh.
Yeah.
Hmm. Re.
Click on it, double click, uncheck, apply.
Check. Apply. Check. Check. Apply. Down. And then go to uncheck, apply, check, apply. And then go to other side and refresh.
All right, guys. So we can create more resource records instead of creating a replication, because replication takes a lot of steps, and it may work right away for some lucky ones, and for some unlucky ones, it's gonna work even faster. Yeah. So let's just go for other records here. If I go to biryani-tasty.local here, forward lookup zone, we right click here. We created an A record. We created a CNAME record. What is the MX record? Mail exchanger record. It exchanges mail, right? Okay. So it's for exchange server. It's for locating an exchange server. Exchange server is, it resolves host names to IP address and IP address to host names, right? Okay. It's an email server, exactly. So exchange, this record resolves, or it redirects the clients, or directs the clients to first, second, third, fourth, fifth exchange server, right? If there are exchange servers, you can create a local record there. So let's click this mail exchange record here, MX. If you click that, you can see host or child domain. First of all, by default, DNS uses the parent domain name when creating a mail exchange record. So you can just create here EXCH01. Suppose you have 3 exchange servers or email servers that you're maintaining in your company. You want users properly be redirected to those servers according to the priority, right? So down here is priority, right? So first, we have given a name. Yes, our first exchange server, we are giving a name called EXCH01. Maybe its actual name is EX2348929, right? So, but you give this easy name and then forward it. Suppose the server 20 is our exchange server here, right? So we can just browse server 20, forward lookup zone, and then there's the A record for server 20 here. I'll double click that. Now, if you have multiple exchange servers, 30, go for 30. So the main thing is server 20.library.tasty, and then priority would be, because if you have 2 or 3 exchange servers there, then 9, if you give this server 9 and next server 10, so next server will be given priority here.
So it will be comparing together with servers to servers in it.
No,
I have a question on that. I have a question on that.
Oh, yeah, because no, I said a wrong statement. So
9 comes first, right?
so lower the number, higher the priority. Yeah, you were saying?
Okay, so that means if, let's say there's 2, so
Exchange servers.
each and everything we just give different numbers, like 1, 2,
Priority.
3,
Yeah. So if it's lower number, that exchange server will be redirected. Clients will be redirected to the lower number exchange server there, right? Lower number will be given more priority. Okay, guys. So this is exchange server. We get to know that okay, it's just going to redirect to a messaging server or exchange server. It has nothing else to do. Just redirect clients connections to exchange server, right? You cannot say it's for web server as well, file server as well. So let's just press OK here. So we create a CNAME record here, we create a MX record here, we create a host A record here, and we create a pointer record here, right? Pointer is IP to name, and this is name to IP, right? So then if we right click here, then there is new domain that we can create. This is the child domain that we can create here, but when we create the child domain, like toronto.netplus-domain.local or newyork.brandtac.local, right? So we created it from the server side. We actually installed a child domain there at the start of the course, and then when we installed from there a domain on another server, that got updated here automatically. But we can create a domain from here as well, although it's kind of not the best practice to go ahead and create a domain from here. Other new records. So we're going to be talking new delegation. Of course, you want to delegate another DNS server for this zone. You want to delegate another physical server or virtual server, DNS server, to host this zone. What did I just say? What is the meaning of that? So,
It's replication.
so what I'm saying is exactly it's kind of that, yeah. So new delegation just means, hey, there is one server that is hosting brandtac.com. That server name is 20. There is server 21. You want to have this brandtac.local zone name hosted on server 21 as well, right? So you can go for new delegation, or you just want server 21 to have this zone name and server 20 should not have the zone name. Then you can go for new delegation. Delegation just means, hey, physical server, you get to host this brandtac. All A records of related to this should be on you, the new server, not this old server here, right? So that's delegation.
So we can shift DNS like this, like shifting from one to one.
You can have two DNS servers hosting the same, just for active passive or active active.
So it's not like you will move totally or whatever.
And you can move as well, right? We're going to be doing that now. So just wanted to show you very few other records. That's the last. Yeah.
When you stop zone, it is automatically hosting.
Stub zone is for intelligent transfer of requests to the correct DNS server. So that is different. This is different. So guys, just the final thing is other new records. Let's just click that. There are very few, 2 or 3 new records there. So if you click that, that's hundreds of other records. So these records are created for specific occasion, of course, specific kind of traffic, and they keep on increasing in every new Windows version. They were not this many before. And I would want to do my homework before I create any of those records there. They are for different occasions. I would go for technet.com and check that Andrew file system database server record. Wow. Hey Andrew. Okay. So AFSDB, right? There is MariaDB as well. There is DynamoDB as well. There are many databases there. And we're, I've talked to developers to create ArmorDB as well. Okay, that was not funny. So anyway, Andrew file system database. So if one record was for Exchange server, right? But that was general any Exchange server. This is for specific database technologies there, which are created from specific vendors that you can create a record for. And when you create a record, clients are easy to find that server hosting this type of database, right? So this is one. Then it keeps on going, and you have to know. You have to go to technet.com. Do I really need that record? Normally, when you come to this, you must be following a vendor documentation to do anything about that, right? Otherwise, these are not day-to-day use records there. Yeah. So it would be a simple A record then. Yeah. So even in the prerequisites of that. So if the vendor tells you to come here, only then you come here. We don't use that for, yes, alias we used already, but when you right click, it already showed you the common records there. Otherwise, these are specific records for very specific environment. We're going to still talk about more records there. We're going to do the replication. We're going to take our time to understand that. And see you in next class with who's bringing biryani? Oh, just kidding. Okay. Thank you for that, bringing biryani, and keep bringing. Oh. So, guys, we really need these two servers. So, well, you can suspend it or shut down, but we need these servers. I'm gonna shut down. You can suspend as well. I have less space, that's why I'm shutting down. You have more space, suspend it if you want. So there are more security related stuff there. There's DNS. There are full jobs for DNS in banks, and just DNS administrator as well. There are jobs. So you will see that how deep DNS is and how many features are there in there. All right. See you.